Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Fox Sports.
We welcome you to the Wednesday Night Showdown, brought to you by your Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. From Boston, Massachusetts, tonight inside Fenway Park, the Rays continue this four-game series with the Boston Red Sox. The Rays flipping the Red Sox in the standings with a victory last night, 5-2. Now a half game ahead of Boston. Beautiful night here on the autumnal equinox as the Rays get ready for baseball against the Red Sox. About 5 degrees warmer than it was at this time last night. Rays playing Boston in the third of a four-game series and the third of a seven-game road trip heading to Toronto for the weekend. But one guy in this Boston lineup who has given Drew Smyly some problems and also the Rays pitching staff some problems has been Mookie Betts. Mookie continues to hit the ball hard, great bats every time out, it seems, against the Rays. He's drawn a lot of walks. You can see what he's done against everybody in September. Nearly a 400 average and 8 RBIs against Drew Smyly, 3 for 9 with a home run. And against the Rays pitching staff in general, he's hitting .333 with 5 home runs. We've seen him play some solid right field as well. Mookie Betts can do it all, at least against the Rays, it seems, both on the bases, at the plate, and in the field. We mentioned earlier Drew Smyly will get the start tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays. Last time he faced these Boston Red Sox at Tropicana Field, he was outstanding. Drew Smyly going tonight, and let's take a look at what he did his last time against Boston. He went 6 innings of shutout baseball, career high tying 11 strikeouts, walked a couple, allowed 4 hits. Smyly, since coming back from the DL, every other start has been scoreless. Last time out, he gave up a couple of home runs and 5 runs to the Baltimore Orioles. But now, if that every other start continues, he should be due for a scoreless one tonight. Less than 8 minutes until the first pitch. Drew Smyly and Rick Porcello is your pitching matchup. We'll come back with more from Fenway Park, including our Web Wednesday Ask the Announcer. Back with more after this from Fenway. Minnesota. Let's go places. By Outback Steakhouse Curbside Takeaway. Making your steak come to you has never been easier. By your Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. In every car we make, you'll see why driving matters. And by Morgan Auto Group. Rays and the Red Sox on a Web Wednesday. Look at those guys. We have Dwayne Stats and our version of the Phantom. BA, Brian Anderson, here's the deal. Tweet your questions to those two at SunSportsRays with the hashtag AskRays, or email your questions to sunsportsrays@gmail.com. Not sure if we will unveil what's behind the mask like they do with the character Eric in the Phantom of the Opera, but they will answer your questions all night long. We're ready for baseball. Rays and the Red Sox right around the corner.
We welcome you to Fenway Park, where the Rays and the Red Sox square off in Game 3 of their series. Rays winners last night 5-2 after Boston grabbed the first game of this series. And tonight it will be Rick Porcello against Drew Smyly. The Rays coming in 73 and 78. Boston at 72 and 78. They have flip-flopped here the last couple of days between 4th and 5th in the American League East. Let's take a look at the starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealer. John Jaso is going to lead it off. He is the DH, followed by Daniel Nava in left, and then Evan Longoria. Asdrubal Cabrera will hit cleanup for the first time for the Rays this year. He's at shortstop. Steven Souza Jr. in right, followed by James Loney. J.P. Arancibia returns to the lineup. He'll do the catching. Kevin Kiermaier in center hitting 8th, and Nick Franklin is at second base tonight. Franklin hitting ninth.
Well, and Boston right-hander Rick Porcello looking to end the season on a high note. You'll see right there a record 8-13 on the season. And you know, his first 6 seasons in Major League Baseball, he has accumulated double-digit wins in all 6. So with maybe 3 starts left in this season, he's got some work to do. And he'd like to pick up a win here tonight against the Rays. And the defense that's going to be behind Rick Porcello, an attempt to help him out, brought to you by BMW, goes this way. In the outfield left to right, Rusney Castillo, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Mookie Betts. And across that infield, third to first, Devin Marrero, Xander Bogaerts, Dustin Pedroia, and Travis Shaw, with Blake Swihart behind the plate.
Well, the Rays have dropped 7 of their last 10 as they come in here trying to gain a series edge here on the Red Sox for this series. They are 8-9 against Boston overall. First pitch of this game presented by Pinch a Penny, and it's a strike call to John Jaso. After that first pitch, the Red Sox go into the shift, and it's shot up the left side. That's going to be foul, however, and slicing into the seats. A 2-strike count to Jaso. John's hitting .287. And is out on strikes. Fastball. 1 away.
What do you say against a guy like Rick Porcello, who likes to get a lot of ground balls? See the ball up. See the ball up, gentlemen. You're so anxious to see the ball up that sometimes when he throws it up there, too anxious, and all of a sudden you go after a pitch that you just can't hit, and John Jaso knows that.
Now it's Daniel Nava. Nava hitting .191 overall. And the pitch is wide. Nava, since coming to the Rays, hitting .229. And now it's 1-2. Porcello, 26 years old, in his first year with Boston. 15-game winner last year for the Tigers when he went 15-13. Little number. Porcello with the pickup and the throw to Shaw. 2 gone.
Well, and we already see here in the early going, Rick Porcello is setting the pace. And by the way, while we're on that topic, you know, Rick Porcello, a lot of sinkers. He likes to use his defense. He wants to get a lot of ground balls. Have you ever seen a guy who relies upon his defense work slow? You know, you talk about, I mean, guys that need their defense to be at their very best are the guys that work the quickest.
Well, it's a give and take relationship there, because the defenders behind him are appreciative of the pace that he sets.
Yeah, and there's, you know, they're not ever going to criticize a pitcher who works slowly. They just won't say anything, but they'll be quick to praise a pitcher that works quickly. And that's exactly how it works. And you ask any defender to a man, and you're right. It keeps them on the balls of their feet. It keeps them in the game. It keeps them ready to go.
So it up the middle and a base hit into center field for Longoria. 2-out base hit. So the Rays get a base runner.
Now right back up the box. Porcello lets it go and then get out of the way. That ball was hammered by Evan Longoria.
Well, it's Cabrera. There's Jubal Cabrera. He has more at-bats against Porcello than anybody else on the Rays. He is 15 of 52 against him. And he's hitting cleanup tonight. 0-2.
Rick Porcello, he is going to attack this lineup. We've seen the fastball already. Good sinking action, the slow curve, the slider, and a changeup.
And a swing and a miss on the fastball. They got ahead 0-2. Got him swinging, and the Rays leave a man. Head. They're lined up, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Again, we'll have Mookie Betts to lead off. Then Dustin Pedroia and Xander Bogaerts, with David Ortiz, the DH, hitting fourth in front of Travis Shaw. The left fielder hitting sixth, Rusney Castillo. Blake Swihart is the catcher. Evan Marrero at third. Jackie Bradley Jr. hits ninth.
Well, Drew Smyly will get his third start against the Red Sox this season. And how about these numbers? 0-1 with a .75. 0-1 with a .75. And by the way, the Rays have lost both of those games. Figure that out.
I'm not even sure the new math can do that.
He's given up one earned run in a combined 12 innings of work, and he's taken a loss, and the team's lost the other game, both by the score of 2-0.
The line drive, base hit. Betts will make the turn at first. Nava gets the ball back toward the infield. Mookie Betts continues to be a hot hitter at the top of this Boston lineup.
Well, let's have a quick little peek here at the Rays defense, brought to you by BMW. In the outfield, left to right, of course, there's Daniel Nava, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. And then across that infield, third to first, Longoria, Cabrera, Franklin. Nick Franklin gets the call at second base, and James Loney with J. Pierre and Sebia behind the plate.
Dustin Pedroia. And there's a strike. Boy, Betts at the top of this order for Boston has given them all kinds of offense, and he has been consistent through it all. Issue here with the plate. Milwaukee, who's calling the balls at strikes, making sure apparently that it's square with the pitching rubber.
It's all about details. It's all about angles.
There's Betts over there at first. 19 steals on the year. There's Bill Welke, 48 years old, out of Coldwater, Michigan. Into the dirt. Betts takes off, and he's going to advance.
Another great job by Mookie Betts on anticipation. Secondary lead, see the ball in the dirt, and he's gone. I mean, zero hesitation. That is just tremendous. Another aspect that Mookie Betts brings, an aggressive base runner, a very good base runner.
No, he saw that breaking ball in the dirt and was gone.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I mean, Aaron Sebia could have scooped that thing and maybe thrown him out. Okay, fine, but he saw it headed to the dirt, and he is off to the races. And more times than not, he's going to be right.
The high fly ball toward the line and left, and Nava is there waiting for it. Pedroia is retired.
Mookie Betts, you go back to August the 24th, and what is it now, 26 straight games that he's reached base safely?
Yeah, and he's hit safely in 32 of his last 35 going back to the middle of August. That's the consistency of excellence that he has given this team at the top of the order.
Incredible. And we've seen the speed aspect of his game. We've seen the power. He can pop some home runs on you. Torey Lovullo working on a left-handed curveball there. Not sure why.
Apparently like to spike it. There's a strike to Xander Bogaerts with a man in scoring position. Well, he's hitting .325 overall. Put a man in scoring position, it's up to .350.
Name a scenario where he has not excelled swinging the bat. I don't know if you can.
It's a foul ball right at the feet of Aaron Sebia.
And speaking of spiked, we were just talking about that curveball with Torey Lovullo. Did you have any of the punch in media dining?
I did not.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I'm drinking a lot of coffee. I don't know what to think.
Maybe I should have.
It's the last homestand here, and they're emptying out the cabinets. I'm not sure what they're putting out or how long it's been there. But it just had a little funk at the end.
Could be fermenting.
I feel happy.
The 0-2 is low. Blocked this time by Aaron Sebia.
Do you know what the do you know what the meal, the food of the day was?
What?
A fried bologna sandwich. I'm not even making that up. A fried bologna sandwich. I mean, they had some happy Thanksgiving down at the end, and that was fine. But if you wanted to go to the sandwich route, it was fried bologna and apparently spiked punch.
They are emptying the cupboard, aren't they?
Wait till, yeah.
We got a day left.
Potpourri.
Ground ball left side. Longoria cutting to his left to make that play. And holding at second, Betts.
Nice little bail job there by James Loney, getting that ball scooped out of the dirt there. Having the throw on the run a little bit low. But Razor one out from getting out of the spot.
David Ortiz sitting on 99 runs batted in. He is 5 of 12 in his career against Smiley. Among the 5 hits, 1 home run. Takes the ball.
It's always fun to watch a pitcher's velocity when he goes up against a guy like Ortiz. Yeah, he's 89, 90. There's a 90, an 89, 92. I mean, a guy like this will get your attention, and he'll get your best stuff.
Well, Ortiz trying to get to 100 RBIs for the 9th time in his career with the Red Sox. Smiley trying to prevent that. Betts starts to go. Time called. And they'll send Betts back to third. Bill Welke had granted time on the request of Ortiz. That's why Smiley stopped.
Well, Drew Smiley had been holding the ball, taking a long time, and Ortiz did get that, and Betts goes back to second.
See, only Ted Williams in the history of this franchise has driven in 100 or more runs in 9 seasons with the Red Sox, and Ortiz one away.
Nobody did it with more style than Jim Rice, though. like that look.
A 2-0 count to Ortiz. Now Betts breaks. The pitch is a ball and no play at third. Betts picks up the steal, his 20th.
Well, you figured, the Red Sox don't run a ton. They've got a couple of guys that will. There's going to be some action on the base paths against Drew Smyly. And his 10 starts, there have been 12 stolen base attempts. He has 4 pickoffs to go with it. So teams looking to move.
It's wide for ball 4. Ortiz will go to first as the Red Sox put men on the corners with 2 outs.
Here's why you feel confident about this situation. I'm going to read off to you the earned runs given up by Drew Smyly since he's come back from the disabled list in the middle of August. 5-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5. What would be next?
So
he's not going to give up anything.
Here you go. First pitch to Travis Shaw is low. A ball and no strikes to Shaw. He has been a difficult bat for the Rays to retire. He's 14 of 28 against the Rays with 3 home runs. There's a strike, 1-1. Almost a third of his runs batted in. 9 against the Rays of 30 total.
You just don't see that very often because the Rays, maybe they don't know a whole lot about Travis Shaw early on. At this point, they've got a pretty good idea, and they're one of the best teams, and Jim Hickey, one of the best pitching coaches in Major League Baseball at game planning for opposing hitters. Have not been able to figure out Travis Shaw yet.
And that's a strike call. Aaron Sebia set up away. Smyly hit the spot, and we'll go to the second inning with Steven Souza Jr. due to lead off. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag #SSDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Going to be Steven Souza Jr. leading off against Rick Porcello. James Loney and J.P. Aaron Sebia will follow. ball, no strikes. One. Souza 0 for 2 last night with a walk and a sacrifice fly. He drove in the first run of the night for the Rays with a fly ball last night. Behind in the count right here, 1-2.
Trying to make up for some lost time. A couple different injuries here for Souza Jr. has cost him some playing time. He'll try to finish that season on a high note, hit a couple more home runs.
That's a fair ball up the right side, kicks the low wall. Souza makes a turn but hangs on. Betts playing the carom. A single for Souza by first.
Well, and in most any other ballpark, that ball's going to be a double right up the line, but the low wall jutting out is right off down by that pesky pole. There is just no room to maneuver. So even though this ball gets down the line, it hits that wall, kicks right out to Betts, and keep Souza at first base. That's one way you can keep a guy from taking two. And then, of course, the ball off the wall, off the green monster and left, you play that properly, you can keep a lot of guys at first base. There's just no room for that ball to get down into the corner.
So the Rays put the leadoff hitter on in the second inning. Here's James Loney. Souza drawing the attention of Rick Porcello.
There may be some action against Porcello, too. There's been 19 attempts against him in the stolen base category, 14 successful. Souza Jr., one of the guys with the Rays that will run.
And again to first, Souza to the backside of that bag. Get his hand in there. Down to third, scoop by Marrero. Pedroia one off balance, and the throw to first in time to double up Loney. How about all that? Starting at third.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover here. First of all, this ball almost gets by Devin Marrero. James Loney going the other way. He fields this ball outside of the scope of his body. I mean, usually when you flip that glove over, he doesn't go for the backhand here. He doesn't have time. So he ends up getting it like that. And then, of course, Pedroia's got to be athletic down at second and gets just enough on the throw to get Loney. Heck of a turn there by the Red Sox infielders.
And Sebia takes the pitch down. Well, Pedroia in the middle of that was as if he were just flying by second, caught it, dropped his foot on the bag, and then twisted and made the throw to first. Watch him by the bag at second.
When he didn't even get that ball, that's the reason that ball fluttered just a little bit, is he had it at the tips of his fingers. He didn't get a real good grip on that baseball as he was throwing it to first. A heck of an athletic play. You know, you're moving, you got to make sure that you hit the bag, come across it. You got to throw to first. Do you set your feet? Do you not? I mean, those are the things that instinctually you just have to let happen. Really, really like this play. A lot of instincts shown there.
Two and two now to Aaron Sebia.
That was a true stare down there with the truck. If we keep talking about it, they're going to keep showing it. But if they keep showing it, we're going to keep talking about it.
The punch was spiked, and there's strike three call on Aaron Sebia. We go to the bottom of the second. No score.
It's a Web Wednesday. On our first question in our Ask the Announcers segment, guys, people want to know about how the Rays have used their staff this year. The starters not going deep into games, except for maybe Chris Archer and Jake Odorizzi. With the excess bullpen usage, fans are concerned about how that might play out in the future. Some fans want to know if Cash and Hickey are okay with that. Here's a bullet to center field, but Kevin Kiermaier will get there for the first out. Thomas and Cooper were two of the fans that had questions about whether free agents might want to come to the Rays in light of how starters are used. So a lot of questions about the bullpen usage and the starters' lack of innings, guys.
Yeah, hard-hit line drive by Castillo, caught by Kiermaier, and a couple of hard-hitting questions right out of the chute here on our Web Wednesday. And I think all of those are legitimate concerns. The pitch is down. It would have been interesting to see how all of this would have worked out absent all of the injuries and the shuffling that had to go on. 1-1 to count to Blake Swihart. But all things being equal, I think there would be some concern. I mean, starting pitchers, BA, you were a starting pitcher. You want to pitch as deep into games as you can.
Yep. I mean, that's a tough one because as a former starter, you can certainly understand some of the frustration with some of the, there are sometimes you get pulled out, don't want to come out, but it's the best for the team. That's just what needs to happen because you don't maybe have it that day. You think that you do, you're battling along, but it's time for you to go. There are other times, and we've seen it on a number of occasions this year, where a guy would skate through 5 innings, a couple of hits, no runs, and out he comes. Those are the ones you have a hard time with. Those are the ones you have a hard time with. And then, of course, at that point, your bullpen's got to cover 4 innings. And the one thing that you do not want to do is you don't want to start to whip the horse in April because it will burn out. It will burn out. I mean, there are times that you have to do it. You've got to manage it properly. I know that the Rays have said, look, if you look at these guys' workloads, they're not going to be any higher than they have been in any other season. And that's absolutely true. But there has been a lot of high leverage. It's just been an interesting year. A lot of it brought on by injury, but I think there's a lot of frustration under the surface, too, with some of these pitchers.
And it's
because of it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. And it's not just pitching. Part of the high leverage situations come from one of the lowest scoring offenses the Rays have dealt with.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of high leverage when the offense is not where you'd like it to be. Injuries had something to do with that. Opposing pitchers also had something to do with that. And when it'll be a very interesting process when at the end of this year, which is just now a couple of weeks away, when you start to really break out the impact of this year and how it turned out the way it did. And not to make excuses, we're not in the business of doing that. Frankly, I don't think most front offices want to be in the business of doing that either. But there were injuries involved, and it'll be interesting conversation that will go on throughout the offseason as well, and perhaps part of this evening. Strikeout of Marrero, no score. Grow Financial. Don't go through life, grow through life. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Checkers, epic meals, epic deals. Red Sox and the Rays scoreless moving into the third. Kevin Kiermaier leads it off here against Rick Porcello. And a big cut by Kiermaier. One strike the count. Kiermaier followed by Franklin and then Jaso. Kevin hitting .257 on the year. 0-2 on the check swing. He's been up around 300 now in the 290 area since the first part of August. High down the left side, twisting out of play. We were talking about Rays pitching and the bullpen. It does lead the American League in innings pitched, decisions, and losses. They have 55 saves this year, which is a club record. And so I think the final analysis is when you do break all of this down, it really is a team effort, and that has to do with the high leverage situations. If you got a 3 or 4 or 5 run lead, there's a base hit served over the head of Bogaerts. Kevin Kiermaier with a turn at first. He's aboard with a leadoff single. For the second straight time, the Rays put the leadoff man aboard.
Well, and with speed over there, you wonder if this is not an opportunity to get Kevin Kiermaier in motion against Rick Porcello. I think it'll be interesting going into spring training next year to see if there are any subtle tweaks to the system. Now that's where you'll see what is going to happen in the offseason, how they're going to deal with that.
Pitch down to Nick Franklin. Well, there's no question this is going to be a big topic around the game. Already is, and we're starting to see more and more because there has been a shift in the game. And the game's always gone through that in terms of how it's played, the approach to the game, the philosophy of putting teams together and running games and managing. The game has changed from decade to decade, actually, and I think we're seeing another significant change, and in many ways it's the information age that we're talking about. More and more teams do it and apply it the way they will.
Look at the most recent general manager hire. 30 years old, analytics, match. I mean, all of that stuff. It's really taking over the game. I think the interesting thing about it is your organizational philosophy, and I'm talking about any of the 30 teams, is it to use the analytics as a tool, or do the analytics rule the day and run the show? And really, we don't care what you see from the dugout. The numbers are the numbers, and you just do it that way. That's what's interesting.
Franklin lifts the fly ball into center. Bradley Jr. there making the catch. And I really think that's an evolving process.
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, we have no special access to any front office, including the Rays. But I think you observe the Rays, you observe the teams they play, read, talk to other people about teams in the National League. And it's an evolving process. You still have Dave Dombrowski here with the Reds. You know, he's been around some other situations that have been very successful, had time with the White Sox and the Marlins, most recently the Tigers. He will tell you that his approach has evolved. Now, how dedicated are they to one particular program over another at the exclusion of anything else? You know, that remains to be seen. And I think it's varied in terms of, if you try to break it down in percentages, some clubs are going to be more prone to go heavy analytics, and other teams are going to have a blend, a mix of that. But there's no question analytics, because information, at least in theory, information is power. And so there is a premium on that, and will continue to be, I think, on trying to run and build ball clubs that way.
And speaking of which, the numbers have just said to take Devin Marrero and put him over in the hole at first base.
Well, here's one thing I think I've generally observed in terms of analytics. I can see how someone would argue that you can certainly apply them to defensive alignments and to pitching more than you can hitting.
No doubt. Hitting, you're reacting.
Yep.
You're up there filling the hitters.
Out at first, tag play would be on at second. Kiermaier's speed beats the throw in there. So he's at second in scoring position now with 2 outs.
You know, if you're up there filling the hitter's mind with, okay, listen, 2 outs, nobody on, this situation, you get to 2 strikes on you. This pitcher really likes to go to the slider like 62% of the time. Well, that's why you end up seeing guys taking fastballs right down the middle with those 2 strikes. You can fill a hitter's head with too much information. It's nice to know tendencies. It's another to bank on those tendencies and then end up getting yourself into a whole lot of trouble in the batter's box.
Well, baseball just lost Yogi Berra, 90 years old, and when you say that, it reminds me of what he said about hitting. You can't think and hit at the same time. And I think, Yogi, with all the quips that he had, there was wisdom in some of those, and I think there's some truth in that. Tough thing to do, hit. Daniel Nava takes a strike. It's 1-1.
And I think that's a lot of times that's up to the individual hitter too. I mean, some hitters will tell you a guy out at second base, if he's able to pick up the pitcher's signs, I don't want him. Some guys, give them to me, or give me location, but I don't want to know what the pitch is. Let me know what the guy throws and what he likes to put guys away with, and I'll take care of the rest. And I think that's how you have to handle it on an individual basis, because you're right. If you go up there with that mind cluttered, the pitcher's already, has already won.
Yeah, and I think you probably have to go there with an idea, an approach.
Got to have an idea.
I mean, at the beginning, absolutely. But if it gets a little cluttered, I think there's some issues with that.
But you're right, on the flip side, defensive setups, you're just going to where the numbers say you should go. With the pitchers, if they can handle that much info, then let them have it and let them go at it, getting some help from the catcher too. They're in this thing together, so it's just interesting to see the game transition into this new age.
Well, there was a time, for an example, when just the idea, Casey Stengel, for an example, platoon players. Well, that became an issue. What are you doing matching up platooning guys all the time? Then the bullpens emerged. You actually had a guy to close games, and not just 2 or 3 outs, but 2 or 3 innings.
Right.
And then you had specialists in the bullpen. So it does change. Two the count on Nava. He is out on strikes. The fastball up gets him. Rays leave a man at second, no score through 2.5. Join the Rays Friday, the 2nd of October, for a zombie apocalypse right at Tropicana Field. Purchase a seat in the TBT party deck. Receive a Zombie Night t-shirt featuring a zombie fighting Evan Longoria. Get your tickets by visiting RaysBaseball.com/special events. Jackie Bradley Jr. his first at bat, and the pitch is a strike. Bradley hitting .261. Ground ball, and that's picked up by Franklin. Turn and throw, and Bradley is out. Rays continue to have success against Jackie Bradley Jr., who's now 2 for 37 against the Rays this year.
Yeah, they have pitched him very, very well. We keep hearing about all the hot streak of Jackie Bradley Jr. We frankly just have not seen it because of the Rays pitching staff.
He's hitting .311 against everybody else, and against the Rays, he's 2 for 37.
Wow. Wow. I mean, 2 for 37.
So they're doing a lot right to get him out.
Better believe it.
A ball, no strikes, the count to Mookie Betts.
Are they going to DFA whoever gave up the 2 hits?
It's a high standard set. Drew Smiley, the Rays lefty on the hill, just 26 years old. Cabrera at shortstop handles this one, and Betts is out of there. 2 up and 2 down.
Drew Smiley, not known for the ground ball, more of a fly ball pitcher with the strikeout sprinkled in, but a couple of ground balls here to start out the bottom of the 3rd.
Dustin Pedroia. No ball, no strikes. One and one.
And this is the part of the game to pay attention to for both pitchers. Second time through the lineup for Smiley and Porcello is when they have struggled the most, and it's really not even close. You talk about times through the order, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. These guys, the second time through the lineup, by far and away the worst with the average, the runs driven in, OPS, all of those numbers that you start to look at. This is the part of the game that they've been vulnerable.
Count holds and a ball, 2 strikes. Smiley coming off the outing against the Orioles, in which he gave up just 5 hits but a couple of home runs.
And that's second time through too. 7 of the 11 home runs that he's given up has been second time through.
It's out of play. Smiley in 107 pitches actually gave up 4 hits and 5 runs on those 2 home runs. 4 hits in 5 2/3. 5 runs.
And we just got some word that one of the pitchers that gave up a hit to Jackie Bradley Jr. was Kevin Jepsen, so they took care of that, traded him.
Pedroia is out on strikes, down to first to complete the strikeout. We head into the 4th. No score in Boston. Geico. It was on this day in 2000 that Fred McGriff at the time joined Frank Robinson as the only two players to ever collect 200 homers in both the American League and the National League. He went deep off Roy Halladay in the first inning of that game. Since has been joined by Mark McGwire, Ken Griffey Jr., and Vladimir Guerrero. 493 home runs for Fred McGriff in his career, matching the home run total of Lou Gehrig. Evan Longoria takes a strike. And now is down on the count 0-2 with that curveball in there.
Seen a number of good curveballs here tonight by Porcello. A little change of pace, trying to keep this Rays lineup off balance. It's been successful in working thus far.
One ball and two strikes. Hot shot line foul into the seats. Asdrubal Cabrera will be next, and then Steven Souza Jr. And Evan is out on strikes. Fastball got him.
Dwayne, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but right off the top of my head, that's four. That's 4 times Porcello has climbed the ladder with the heater to get the strikeout.
He started with Jaso, then Cabrera. He got Nava that way to end the third, and now Longoria.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, he has been working, getting ahead down in the zone, off speed, a sinker here, a sinker there, then climbed the ladder, and he's been getting the swings and misses.
Cabrera fouls away the first pitch. Off speed. One and one. Well, when Porcello won those 15 games for the Tigers last year, he had excellent command, and his pitches per inning under 15 last year, and they've been over 16 this year.
He's had to work harder. You know, he's given up more hits, almost 20 more hits coming into the start than innings pitched. He's already given up a career high in home runs.
Through the right side, a base hit. Second changeup in that at bat, and Cabrera has himself a base hit.
Yeah, that's a good job of Asdrubal Cabrera hitting. Not a bad pitch at all by Porcello. He gets this pitch down in the zone, but look at Cabrera. Stay back just enough and roll over, but roll over and hit it hard enough that he gets it into the hole.
One on, one out. Steven Souza Jr. in the batter's box. And he misses the fastball, strike one. Pitch is wide, 1-1. Porcello pitched against the Rays in the first week in May and picked up a 2-0 victory. 7 innings in that one. Into center field, Bradley Jr. makes the catch. Souza's out of there. 2 gone. Cabrera back to first. Come to the Trop Saturday, October 3rd, when the Rays take on the Blue Jays, and all fans receive a Rays Oktoberfest freezer mug presented by GTE Financial, all while supplies last. Then DJ Steve Aoki will take the field for the postgame concert. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. James Loney hits one back into deep left. Castillo in front of the wall to make the catch. And the Rays are finished in the 4th. 1 hit, 1 left, no score.
Which leads us to our next Ask the Announcer question in this scoreless game, bottom of the 4th. You can tweet your questions to @SunSportsRays or email them to sunsportsrays@gmail.com. Guys, with Steven Souza Jr., with Brandon Guyer, Mikey Matuk, and the return of Desmond Jennings, is that a good problem to have next year? Ask Mike and Michael about all these right-handed hitting outfielders. Also, part 2 of a question from Michael is, Dwayne, will you take up bicycling this offseason?
Yeah, I love to ride bikes, but now I'm a little concerned. Xander Bogaerts is going to lead off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Bogaerts, Ortiz, and Shaw due up. And to strike the count. Oh-2. Bogaerts, the second leading hitter in the American League. We've got some smoke emanating apparently from the right field corner beyond, it appears, beyond the stands. It had drifted across. We first noticed it down the left side, but either somebody's got a great barbecue going.
That's the thing. That's not a barbecue. Yep. That's a fully involved structure fire is what that is. That smells like not very appetizing.
And a cut and a miss. Bogaerts will be thrown out with a toss down to first. The breaking ball gets him. So a strikeout for the first out in the 4th inning. You know, they're asking now as to whether, because of your accident, I will stay away from bicycles.
That was going on?
That was one of Todd's questions. He was concerned about the smoke. We suggested that he just drop and roll if he gets into trouble wherever he is. But I think he's safe right now.
We should send him out to investigate what it is, because I'm going to tell you something right now. That's no barbecue. And if it is, people are not going to be very happy with what they're eating.
1-1 to count on Ortiz.
Unless they're having a giant fried bologna party out in right field.
Well, there you go. That might be
Beyond
part
right
of the
field.
leftovers.
Smelled the same.
2-1 to count. To answer Todd's questions, no, I'll still ride a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you will too.
I will eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to tell you this, and I'm not even kidding, but after taking the sidewalk, the header on the sidewalk, and bouncing around there for a few minutes, I feel smarter.
I've noticed that.
I feel smarter. It's strange. Like, I can think clearly now.
Yep.
I don't know what it did, and I don't ever want to go through that again.
Yeah. No,
that was not a whole lot of
wouldn't
fun.
want you to go through that again.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, not good at all. But I do feel like I don't know. Just a tick better mentally.
Yep. I've noticed that in the conversation. I've had to think in different ways about what you're saying than I thought about them before.
Because of the big words?
Yeah.
That I don't even really know what they mean, but I know how to use them in a sentence.
Did he go? He did not. And Ortiz draws the walk. Second time he's walked tonight. Both walks issued by Smiley to Ortiz.
The breaking ball below the zone, and that's a good take right there by number 34.
By the way, the other part of that question had to do with Rays outfielders and the fact that right now it would appear they have a lot of right-handed hitting outfielders. And what about the numbers of right-handed hitting outfielders they have in regard to next spring? Next spring's a long way off, and a lot could happen between now and next spring.
This will be a fun offseason to watch.
It really will be.
See how Matt Silverman and his crew go about putting a team together for next year. I mean, obviously last year, I don't think you could be more busy than he was last year, but it will certainly be interesting to see, how they evaluate this year and what comes back.
Yeah, they were way busier than they anticipated with the transition. And things started to roll. One thing led to another. It'd be interesting just to sneak around the corner and hear what they had to say in some of those meetings.
I'm going to ask for an invite with the promise of no full disclosure.
Yeah,
there will be no disclosure. Just want
a confidential.
That's right.
Arrangement.
Just want to fly on the wall.
Yeah. Well, a cut and a miss. Shaw reaching for that one is out, and the Rays have retired him twice. So 2 gone. Well, if you petition to get into those meetings and you use the same vocabulary that you've been using the last few days, you might be in there. An open door policy.
I don't know about open door, but maybe an invite if I can remember the password to the speakeasy.
Castillo up here. First pitch is a strike at the knees. Well, it's going to be interesting to watch. There's no question about that. I think, obviously what's happened here has been disappointing for a number of reasons. And we touched on some of those earlier, injuries being one of them. But I think it's going to be a more interesting offseason this year than they've had in recent off seasons, including last year with all of the changes that went on.
Yeah, last year you had the feeling and the taste of a complete reboot. Just making some big changes, trying to keep this thing moving in the right direction, put a team together that can contend, all the while trading away some key pieces. You think about Ben Zobrist is gone. I mean, all of these different things that happened. And next year it will be tweaking. It will be tweaking how to get the right matchups, the right mix of 25. That's going to be it with depth.
Up the middle. That's going to be a base hit into center field. Ortiz advances to second. 2 men on with 2 men out.
Rusney Castillo finding some room to work with up the middle. Just kind of smothers that ball. He gets it by Drew Smiley, and one had a real shot. So the Red Sox keep the inning alive. They've got a runner in scoring position, but there's 2 outs, and he is not exactly fleet of foot.
Blake Swihart, the hitter, switch hitting catcher, struck out his first time. Came into the game hitting .272. Most of the damage he has done has been as a left-handed hitter. The first pitch, a fastball close, ball 1. There's the breakout against right-handers. .294 and .216 against left-handed pitching. That is a foul ball and out of play. Not the easiest thing here in this park to keep a foul ball in play. Very limited foul territory.
You get a little bit down about to the dugout, and then after that, with those low walls jutting out towards the field, it closes down like right now.
Ground ball back at third. Longoria steps on the bag for the force play, and we're headed into the 5th inning. Rays and the Red Sox scoreless. Coming up in the game tonight and all season. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. We'll have J.P. Arencibia to lead off the 5th, then Kevin Kiermaier and Nick Franklin. Well, through the front 4, Rick Porcello's made just 53 pitches, and Drew Smyly has made just 61 through 4. Sebia called out on strikes his first time. Sebia, one of 5 strikeouts posted by Porcello. The number that's grabbed by Porcello, and the toss to first in plenty of time.
A nice job by Rick Porcello moving off the mound. And that's his natural fall off side, and so you get kind of a head start. It's also your glove side, but still an impressive play by the Red Sox starter. Get off and then flag that down. Underhand the throw. These 2 pitchers here this evening have been models of efficiency. And they've done a nice job of keeping these two lineups off balance. Good mix of pitches.
There's Kevin Kiermaier. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, part of that ability to field his position could be in his genetics. His maternal grandfather played in the major leagues as an infielder. Sam Dinty played for 4 or 5 teams in the big leagues. 2-1, including a stint with the Red Sox. There's a base hit past the diving Marrero. And Kiermaier is 2 for 2. Well, let's see if the Rays can do something with this. A 1-out base hit.
That's a changeup. 2-1. It breaks the bat, but he's able to just flip it and get it by the reach and the dive of Devin Marrero. And this is where you've got to send him. I mean, Kevin Kiermaier, if you've got the green light, at some point you got to go. You got to try to make something happen. Both of these offenses have been sitting back, trying to put some hits together, have not been able to do that. So now you got to push the envelope a little bit. You've got speed on first, and you've got a pitcher that is vulnerable to the stolen base.
There's Kiermaier off first. And he's gone. Base hit the other way by Franklin. Castillo quickly up with it in left. So Kiermaier, who was breaking, stops at second base. He had a good jump, and Franklin hit it through the left side.
And just kind of sliced that ball down there. This pitch down in the zone, down and in, and he's able to stay inside of it, drop the bat head, and find an opening. You see Bogarts headed over to cover. Abandons his position. Franklin shoots it through, and the Rays are rolling.
For the first time tonight, the Rays have 2 men on base at the same time on the back-to-back hits by Kiermaier and Franklin. For the top of the order, John Jaso. Jaso's 0 for 2 tonight. Comes into the game 3 of 11 with a home run off Porcello. So let's see if he's the guy the Rays want to have up there right now with those numbers. Came in hitting .287. And a take on a pitch low. Ball, 1 strike.
Boy, Porcello so often goes to the changeup when behind in the count. It's a great time to use that pitch. He's got a good one, does a good job of getting the ground ball, but guys are so anxious thinking they're going to get that sinker, that fastball. When he's behind, he comes with the changeup, and more times than not gets a swing and a miss or swing and a foul tick.
Ground ball, Pedroia, Bogarts 1. First base 2. And that's what Porcello can do. He can throw a ground ball, and this one results in the double play. Rays put 2 men on and leave 1. Do not score. We are scoreless through 4.5.
Guys, 11 days away from the final game of the regular season. It's going to be at Tropicana Field. And there's going to be a special giveaway for kids 14 and under that day, part of our Kids Sunday and Family Fun Day. First pitch is a fly ball into center field off the bat of Devin Marrero, and Kevin Kiermaier has the easy play. And guys, you had a little sneak preview of it earlier tonight on our open of tonight's show, but here it is. It is the Raymond Mask coming up Halloween not too long from now. So you got this Raymond Mask for kids 14 and under. It will be a lot of fun going on that final day of the regular season Fan Appreciation Day. There's BA's version of the mask, a little Phantom of the Opera style. Guys, what do you think?
I think that was artfully done. BA's handiwork there.
See, that's what I mean. I have no artistic ability whatsoever. But I got a pair of scissors. Knew we had to make it. It was suggested that we, go with the Phantom of the Web Wednesday look.
Yeah.
And it happened to work out on the first attempt, and I really liked it. So I may wear it on my walk home.
Yeah. They can start a whole trend this Halloween.
You never know. You never know. Look at some of the other trends that have been started out there that you're like, why would anybody do that? But yet they do.
Mm-hmm. That was a great job. Artistic flair. There you go. See that?
They both serve a purpose.
Who was that masked man? Count is full on Jackie Bradley Jr.
I mean, the guy's everywhere.
Yeah, Todd just dropped by our booth.
He just put a package for you in your bag.
Smiley, a nice play on that little tap by Bradley. 2 up and 2 down. As quickly as he popped in, he left. Whereabouts unknown. Oh, there. We'll
there
keep
he
an
is.
eye on him.
Yeah.
We found him. Yeah.
See how quickly he could find the camera too.
It's instinctive.
He knows right where to go.
Want to know the count to Betts.
He's been extraordinarily giddy the last couple of days.
Yep.
Real happy about something.
Yep. 1-1. I think he's enjoyed Boston, but he's really looking forward to Toronto.
I think we all are. We've not seen that Blue Jay team since it's been remade.
Yep.
They did that shortly after the Rays. We were up there and had seen them play, and at Tropicana Field, all of a sudden it's a completely different team, and they've just gone off and taken control of the AL East. And so I think everybody's anxious to see not only the team and what they're about, but the crowds. The crowds over the weekend, it's going to be a zoo up there.
2.5 up on New York right now, and this is reminiscent of what we're anticipating seeing and what we've seen from afar. The base hit driven up the middle by Betts. He's on for the second time. It's reminiscent of those teams they had back in the 90s when things were really exciting up there. And they've returned to that level of excitement in Toronto now.
There's 2 back in the loss column, so tonight's game is huge. Huge.
Dustin Pedroia now with Mookie Betts at first, 2 outs.
Now you fully expect Mookie Betts to be in motion here. Scoreless ball game again. Sitting back and waiting for 3 or 4 hits in an inning has not been working. You've got to go at some point. Betts is one of the guys that will do that. You've got 2 outs. Why not? And with that in mind, Drew Smiley a couple of throwovers.
Betts alertly moved up to second back in the first inning on a breaking ball in the dirt. Pitch popped up, foul ball, and that will reach the seats. And Betts eventually stole third in the first. It's the only time that either club has had a man reach third base tonight. We're in the bottom of the fifth. Guerrero hit a fly ball to center. Bradley out, pitcher first before the single up the middle by Betts. And another throw still. So Smiley and the Rays anticipating some movement by Betts. And again to first. One and one. Fastball up. Into the dirt and blocked by Aaron Sebia. It's 2-1. The other thing that Betts has, you might call it swagger. You'd certainly call it confidence. You know, it's not overplayed, but you can tell he's comfortable on the bases and is willing to be gone on a split second. Close, and that's ball three. Confident he can do what he needs to do out there.
And I think too that comes from, you know, the Boston coaching staff letting him go. You know, he's earned the right to be able to do that and to be aggressive on the base paths more often than not. He's right. You think about those balls in the dirt, anticipating the breaking balls in the dirt, the ability to steal a base, to take an extra base. They understand that speed is a big weapon of his, part of his arsenal. And so you don't want to stifle that at all until he makes, make a number of bad decisions. You may temper it just a little bit. But until then, you let him go. Turn him loose.
He was breaking on the 3-1 pitch. It was fouled.
Look at that. And he takes off and just waves bye-bye. I love that. I love that you got the gloves on the hands, and then you've got like just a meaningless pair in the back of your pockets. Just like I said, you get going fast enough and they're just waving to everybody. See ya.
Send it back to the bag. Scoreless game. We're in the bottom of the fifth. 2 outs. 3-2 to Pedroia. And he fouls this one back. Straight back off the facing of the press level. Betts was at third in the first. And the Red Sox left men at first and third. They left 2 men on in the fourth. And another foul ball straight back. Now Betts at first base, 2 outs in the fifth. 3-2 pitch again. And it's foul third base side this time. Into the camera well. So 3 consecutive foul balls off the bat of Pedroia.
And going through another bat. Cannot find the one to put the ball in play. About 34 inches long, 33 inches long. It's dark color. Okay, here we go.
New bat in hand with a 3-2 count. This will be the 9th pitch of the at bat. And a foul ball again. Just a piece of that one.
You know, you almost get the feeling of that pitch there that Dustin Pedroia was just thinking as that ball's coming in. Yeah, that looks like it could be close enough to call. So why don't I just go out there and just foul it off? Maybe. Anything close, you know he's going to swing at. You're getting Betts tired over there at first base, constantly on the move.
3-2 again. And he lifts it to the right side. Franklin angling out from second base, and he makes the catch. Man left at first, an extended at bat for Pedroia. We have no score through 5. Porcello with 5 strikeouts, 4 coming on that high fastball, and then that one looking against Aaron Seavey. And Drew Smiley has 6 strikeouts through 5 of shutout baseball. A couple of walks. He's left 2 men on twice tonight. So we head into the 6th inning of this matchup between Rick Porcello and Drew Smiley. Daniel Nava, the former Boston Red Sox, will lead it off. It'll be Nava, then Evan Longoria, followed by Asdrubal Cabrera. Nava out pitcher first and has struck out. Fouls it back, strike 1. The Rays have had 6 hits tonight. A couple of double plays in the mix for Porcello. The Rays had men at first and second and 1 out in the fifth inning. Jaso grounded into a double play. Got a double play ball out of Loney in the second. Fastball fouled back.
And he tried to go up once again. That's been a big pitch for him when he's been able to get ahead of a lot of these Rays hitters and all of a sudden climb the ladder with that fastball. I don't think he got that one as high as he would have liked. And so Nava able to foul it off and get another one.
And he hits him with that pitch.
Well, you try and make a pitch like that, make a guy pay for it, because you're down in the count 0-2. If you're looking at it from Porcello's point of view, you're up 0-2 and you yank a fastball firmly in control of the count and the at-bat. You yank a fastball, you hit a batter for the 9th time this year, and unforced error, leadoff man aboard.
Well, the Rays have put the leadoff man on in 3 of the 6 innings now. Longoria fouls this one out of play. Evan has singled and has struck out tonight. Close, 1-1. It's a ball and 2 strikes. That's Cabrera, who's on deck, hitting cleanup tonight for the first time this year. Out on strikes on the fastball. Well, that's been a big pitch for Porcello tonight to go up there.
He really has. And here he goes again. 2 strikes, climb that ladder. Cannot lay off. Middle of the plate, shoulder level. And a swing and a miss. That's at least 5 now of exactly that. Porcello, not a huge strikeout guy, but boy, he's getting them tonight, and he's getting them the same way.
Taking a page out of Smiley's book.
That's the new rage, the elevated fastball. You know, you get some of these good changeups that were, below the zone, and that's still a great pitch. But the elevated fastball, we saw the Rays use it with great effectiveness starting, last season, obviously into this season. But now that we get around the league, you see a lot of guys going to it.
A ball, no strikes, the count to Cabrera. One and one. Cabrera singled in the 4th inning on a changeup. Pretty good pitch from Porcello. He got it through the right side of the infield.
And Porcello would like to take his chances with another pitch like that and another ground ball. Like you said, already a couple double play ground balls. Why not go for another? Great location on that fastball right there in. And all of a sudden that's going to, now with 2 strikes, Devin Marrero leaves his position at third base and heads over into the hole. We see that ball come back and catch the inside corner. Front door sinker. One of the toughest pitches in the game.
There's a high fly ball back into right. Betts backs up and makes the catch. And a return to first by Nava. Cabrera got it airborne, but in that direction, you've got to get some distance on it. He is out number 2. The most popular way to follow the action of Rays baseball is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcast, and more. Get the MLB.com at bat app now. Steven Souza Jr. The pitch to him is low. Breaking ball. Rays have 6 hits tonight. Souza has 1 of them. Turns away from a ball that stayed inside. Another curveball that did not find the zone. 2-0. Base hit through the hole between short and third. So on that fastball, a base hit moves Nava to second. Souza is 2 for 3. Two men on, 2 men out now.
That ball stayed up just enough. Souza Jr. able to hammer that ball into left field. Rays with another shot here.
James Loney is grounded into a double play. Hit a fly ball to left field his last time. Loney 5 of 21 in his career against Porcello. Takes the pitch inside.
Well, James Loney, always a good plan when he comes to the plate. In a spot here, no one been able to. He's been able to put a run on the board. He's got a chance to do that. And a couple of good takes here to get the count working in his favor. See that outfield shaded a little bit over towards left, thinking the ball in the air. He's going to up the middle the other way. The infield a little bit more traditional. Marrero way off the line at third. Bogarts shading up the middle.
And he's up in the count 3-0. Well, Loney had 2 hits last night. He was 2 for 4, and the 2 times they got him out were on fly balls to the left side. Ahead 3-0 now. Souza Jr. at first, Nava at second. He's swinging and fouls it back. But after the 3-0 fastball.
Hey, you give your guy the green light, guys that you can trust. James Loney's certainly one of those hitters.
JP Arancibia hoping to get a chance to hit in this inning. And a liner will be caught by Pedroia. The Rays leave 2. Bottom of the 6th coming up, still no score. Boston. Tonight's Buick big matchup. Here's Smiley against the American League East in his career. How about this? That's quite a breakout.
Well, and that bodes well for Drew Smiley, seeing how he's a member of the Tampa Bay Rays and he's going to be facing the AL East quite a bit. And again, it's been the every other start thing for Smiley. It's very odd when you look at his breakout. He rejoined the rotation on August the 16th, and it's been bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, all the way down. The good starts have been scoreless starts, and we've got another one here tonight in perfect alignment with what he's done previously.
First pitch to Xander Bogaerts is wide. It's in there, and it's 1-1. Bogaerts, Ortiz, and Shaw. Ball, 2 strikes. Bogaerts came into the game hitting .325, second to Miguel Cabrera. Line drive right at Longoria. 1 away. Well, if you give up a line drive, hit it right to the defender behind you. Pretty good approach.
Make a pitch, get it out. Keep it simple. I don't care how you do it. We've seen a number of ways. You've seen some double play balls tonight. We've seen some strikeouts, some balls hit hard with nothing to show for it. But overall, obviously, a very quiet night offensively from both teams. A couple of chances here and there, but Porcello and Smiley have made pitches when they've needed to.
And a big cut on a curveball by Ortiz. Strike 1.
Yeah, he was way too quick on that swing, way out in front. Taking that area code thing way too far.
1-1.
Hey, look at us. We're from the 501. I mean, good for you.
Ortiz joining the 500 home run club.
Well, that's for him.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Got there against the Rays.
That one guy at the very end.
Yeah. That was his area code. 2-2.
Was that Jaso's pass list? Right there.
There you are.
I like it.
Ooh, pitch that just missed.
How about the fact that John Jaso has kept the hair? He has absolutely kept the hair.
Now, that pitch right there, up, not a pitch that Welke's known to give. And a swing and a miss. They take care of Ortiz, who's out on strikes.
Well, how about the fact that what Drew Smiley did was slow everything down to Ortiz and then get the fastball by him. That was a great job. You just lull him to sleep, you slow him down, then boom, you pop the fastball, and he's not able to get to it. Great job of sequencing there and setting up that heater that was up.
There's a shot that's off the mitt of Loney, rolling into foul territory. Travis Shaw on his way to second, and he will make it ahead of the throw. So Shaw jumped on the first pitch, and suddenly he's in scoring position.
Well, and James Loney had a shot at it. How he's able to squeeze this by him, I'm not really sure. You can see how close he is to the line. A line drive backhand. And what it did was it ticked off the end of the glove. And when it did that, it took some of the steam off that ball. So it's not going to kick off that low wall and give the Rays an opportunity to keep Shaw at first. It slows down a little bit. Franklin has to go track it down, and all of that takes time. That allows Shaw to get out to second, man in scoring position.
Rusney Castillo is the hitter. And a ground ball right to Franklin. So Shaw left at second. On to the 7th inning. No score. Mazda dealers. Tonight the Rays at Fenway Park in Boston. Rays winners last night 5-2 after dropping the first game here. This is the third of a 4-game series. Rays facing Rick Porcello. 84 pitches for the Boston right-hander. And the Rays and the Red Sox are scoreless. J.P. Arancibia looks at a strike. The Rays have a hit in every inning. They had 2 hits in the 5th. Arancibia started to go and could not stop. 0-2 on the slider.
Yeah, and we haven't seen that pitch very often here tonight. And so you get a little bit surprised by it. Mostly it's been the fastball, the sinker, the curveball, and the changeup. Now breaking out that slider and then trying to climb the ladder once again. Arancibia able to foul it off.
Kiermaier next, and then Franklin. Here's the 0-2 again. And he is out on strikes. Another slider, so a couple of those there to Arancibia. Let's check in with Todd Callis right now.
Dwayne, a lot of fans are really interested about next season's team, and we're getting a lot of questions on our Web Wednesday Ask the Announcer segment about 2016. Fans are wondering, with Asdrubal Cabrera becoming a free agent and possibly not returning to the Rays, where do the Rays look to for their shortstop for next season? And BA is seeing things so much more clearly now.
So
Maybe he has the answer.
Here we go.
There's a base hit. Kiermaier is 3 for 3. Makes the turn and hangs on. So the Rays have a base runner with 1 out. Well, that's another reason to address that question, that the offseason is going to be interesting to see what does develop. You know, the Rays started the year thinking Nick Franklin would be their starting shortstop and that Cabrera would play second. But it hasn't worked out that way, which opened an opportunity for Logan Forsythe, who's had the night off tonight. Forsythe's had a great year. But that's something they're going to have to address. Strike the count.
Well, and especially because the standard that Asdrubal Cabrera held that position to this year. I mean, first of all, he seized the job and took over the shortstop job early in spring training. It didn't take very long for the coaching staff to say, we found our shortstop and his name is Asdrubal Cabrera. And let's start to piece it together from there. And he's done nothing during the course of this season to make you think that they should have gone any other direction. I mean, he's been fantastic out at shortstop defensively. Just so smooth and so steady, a guy that you can count on. And so you're going to have to find somebody that can duplicate that next year if he indeed doesn't come back. And that is not easy. It just is not easy. You know, think about the Oakland A's this year. They're starting to move some things around. They make the big trade for Marcus Semien, and he had more errors in the first month of the season than Cabrera's had all season.
Yep.
And so it's not that easy to find those steady, reliable middle infielders that are so important to your team, especially to a team like the Rays with pitching and defense.
Kiermaier steals second base. Got a good jump on Porcello. That's the 17th stolen base for Kiermaier.
Finally going here, 3 hits into it. You know that the Rays, they've got to be able to create something because you're just not able to put hits together here tonight. Also keeps you out of the double play, so nice job by Kiermaier picking up that stolen base.
Velotti's up in the bullpen for the Rays. And the count to Franklin goes to 2-2.
Well, now what does Porcello do? I say that if it's 0-2-1-2, he's going to climb the ladder with the heater because that's a spot where Franklin can be vulnerable because of his swing path. It's been working well tonight, but at the same time, does he risk going to 3-2?
And he strikes him out with a fastball.
Yep, and it wasn't as high as some of the others, but it had some elevation to it. And because of the swing path of Franklin, he just can't get up to it. He's going to stay underneath this fastball all the way, and he's able to power it right by him. You see that uppercut swing, that pitch at the top of the strike zone, and just cannot get there. Well, he went there, and he was successful.
Here's John Jaso. Breaking ball down and in. 1-0.
I think that's what the Rays saw here tonight. You know, you start to think about matchups, giving guys some playing time, and because Nick Franklin has that uppercut swing, and you think about Porcello a lot down in the zone with the sinker, it seemed to be a perfect marriage. But if he elevates, then that's not so fun anymore.
And we have seen him do that tonight. 8 strikeouts.
Think about the hit that Franklin had. I mean, that was a ball way down in the zone. Just dropped the bat head. That's where he can do his damage.
Jaso getting his 4th look tonight at Porcello.
I have no data on the 4th time through the lineup. Had some decent on the 2nd time through. That didn't work out for anybody. 4th time through, I'm at a loss. So maybe that blow did not help me out that much.
Jaso takes ball 3. 3-1. Nava on deck. There goes a runner. Kiermaier with a steal of 3rd. Jaso with a full count, swinging through the 3-1 pitch.
Got a little bit of a moving lead, got an off-speed pitch to deal with, and gets in without a throw. That just increases your chances of scoring. A ball in the dirt maybe gets away.
This one up the left side. Is it going to be fair? That's a foul ball. Not a lot of foul territory, as you can see, between the line and the wall, but foul.
Boy, just barely. This is a great shot. Look at the slice. I mean, come on.
All that fair territory out there in that little strip of foul territory, and it hit just foul. Back foul, this one out of play.
Well, going back to his hair, we started to talk about it earlier. You remember, he came up with that and said, listen, if I start to go in the tank a little bit offensively, got off to a hot start, said I'm going to keep it. True to his word.
Yep, stay right with it.
It has its own personality now. I've talked to it.
Well, you can see it has its own will.
Oh, yeah, it's a free spirit. It's going to go wherever it feels like.
And that's okay with Jaso.
He's raised it well.
Yep. It's low. He draws the walk. So it's 1st and 3rd with Daniel Nava coming up. Speaking of coming up, here's what we'll see tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show, presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealer. Right-hander Erasmo Ramirez will be on the mound. We'll hear from him, and Erastus will break down Mookie Betts. Betts has been outstanding for Boston. In the field, he's played all over the outfield. In right field tonight. 2 for 3. Conference on the Hill. Carl Willis chatting with Porcello.
How apropos would this be? Daniel Nava, 2 outs, first and third.
Yep. The former Red Sox up here. Hit by a pitch his last time, 0 for 2 tonight. Fastball is low. Kiermaier at third, Jaso at first. High chop, that ball's going to go through. Base hit. Kiermaier will score. The Rays take the lead on the RBI single by Daniel Nava. 1-0 Tampa Bay.
You knew that was going to happen. You just knew it. It was set up perfectly. Porcello gets the ground ball that he's looking for to get out of the inning. Nava is able to find a hole. He gets it out of the dive. Right here, that ball chops up high. Dustin Pedroia angles out, dives, cannot come up with it. Rays lead.
So Nava drives in the go-ahead run. And now he'll depart. Mikey Mautuk will run for him at first. Evan Longoria will be the hitter. Jaso, the runner, at second. Over but low, 1-0. Rays will have Erasmo Ramirez tomorrow against Wade Miley. It's a tapper and a foul ball. 1-1. Hembree up in the bullpen. We saw Heath Hembree in the first game of this series on Monday. Porcello making his 108th pitch of the night, lined into left, and that ball will be caught by Castillo. Rays get a run on the RBI single by Daniel Nava. 1 run, a couple hits, 2 left. We're in the middle of the 7th in Boston. Rays 1, Red Sox 0. Top of the inning, and he has scored the run. As promised earlier in the game, we've selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag SS Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Breaking ball to the young catcher Blake Swihart. 1 strike to count. Fastball down. That's Mikey Matuk, who ran in the top half of the inning for Nava, now taking over in left field. 2 balls and a strike.
Far enough. Don't want to walk here. Your team's just giving you a 1-run lead. No leadoff base runners. Make him earn it.
And he walks him. Leadoff walk in the 7th. Devin Marrero due to hit. Velotti, who was up last inning, stays loose out there. We've seen a lot of him lately. Marrero tonight has struck out swinging and hit a fly ball to center. Bunts, first base side, a good one. Trouble here. Loney can't come up with it cleanly, and everybody is safe.
But you can see that Devin Marrero, I'll tell you, he really exploited the Rays defense there. He got ready to push bunt, and he got it by Drew Smiley. Perfectly placed. See the Rays defense, Loney coming off the bag, Franklin's a little bit deep, and you get it by Smiley, who's fallen off the third base side, and there is nobody home. James Loney, the only shot he had, what he was trying to do was field throw on the run to second base. And even that was going to be difficult to do.
So Marrero puts down the bunt. He reaches. Red Sox get their 5th hit on the bunt. Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. He lines it foul off the tarp. Strike 1.
And Jackie Bradley Jr., the way that he's been swinging the bat against the Rays, and Mookie Betts on deck, well, even the top of the order, you almost think about him bunting here. Obviously not with that swing on the first pitch.
Now he shortens.
Not a bad idea. You start to think about, in a perfect Red Sox world, 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, Betts coming to the plate. That would force some decisions by the Rays on what they're going to do with him and who's going to attempt to face him. You think about maybe Bellotti coming out in that situation. The brain trust.
Red Sox have the first 2 men on. Fouled back by Bradley Jr., and now it's 1-2.
Well, now go for the strikeout. You get your 2 strikes, start to expand the zone. Could certainly use one here.
Upstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Into the dirt, blocked by Aaron Sebia. The count is full.
What a What a big pitch here. What will be the 107th for Drew Smyly. Quite possibly his last hitter. And he needs to come up with his best pitch of the night right here.
High fly ball into left. Montuk will go to the track in front of the wall to make the catch. His throw back toward third. The runners remain at first and second. A long fly ball to the opposite field by Bradley Jr. And here comes Kevin Cash. 2 men on with 1 out. And Smyly, who has worked 6 1/3 innings, now with 2 men on, will depart, with the Rays leading 1-0. We'll take this moment to honor and acknowledge the passing of Yogi Berra at the age of 90 yesterday. Yogi broke in with the Yankees on September 22nd, 1946, and he left us on September 22nd, 2015. A balance here after 107 pitches. Smyly works 6 1/3, allowing 5 hits, walking 3 and striking out 7. And he leaves in favor of Andrew Bellotti, who will be appearing in his 4th game in the last 5 Rays games. 4 out of 5 now for Bellotti.
And you don't see that very often. He certainly is getting his work in, and he comes into a tough spot here. Mookie Betts, 2 runners aboard and just 1 out.
Mookie Betts 2 for 3. Takes the pitch in there for a strike. Bellotti got credit for an inning in relief of Matt Moore last night. He came on and got Betts on a fly ball to center. One and one. Walk in the bunt single, 2 men on. 1 away, 1 and 1 to count to Betts. 2 balls and a strike. Further action. Riefenhauser and Cedeno. Fly ball back into center. Kiermaier is there. He'll make the catch. The tag at second. Swihart advances to third. Two outs with men at first and third now. And Dustin Pedroia is due up.
This is the same exact scenario. Two outs, first and third, the two-hole hitter at the plate. This is where Daniel Nava came through with a base hit into right field. And now Dustin Pedroia going to try and answer on behalf of the Red Sox.
Pedroia 0 for 3 tonight.
Look at those eyes busy out there taking a look at the Rays defense. Where's everybody lining up? Pretty much standard, except Nick Franklin kind of shading up the middle, and with Loney holding the runner on, a lot of room to work with on the right side.
Good cut to miss. Pedroia pulling off that pitch, strike one.
Yeah, badly. Good slider there by Bellotti.
That one upstairs.
And it's not really, but that's the Welke strike zone.
Yep.
You know, you're talking about that pitch up. That's a good pitch. That's a strike.
He just doesn't give you that pitch. We saw a couple of cases of that earlier.
I love that. I love when guys just not going to give it to you. Doesn't matter if it's a strike or not. I'm not going to call it.
1-2, a big rip there. Off speed. Let's take a look at this.
And he gets it to dive down and in underneath the swing. That action taking it in close to Pedroia. And now you can go either direction. He's had the changeup moving down and in. He's had the slider moving down and away.
Runner breaks from first. The pitch, ooh, pretty close. Into second, no throw, and Marrero is now in scoring position. Take a look how close this was. Off the plate.
Yeah, all the way. Well, now Red Sox with two runners in scoring position, a little bit more dangerous of a situation for Bellotti. Got to make a pitch here.
2-2. Did he go? He did not, says John Hirschbeck.
And you see the look on Dustin Pedroia's face saying, ooh, that was close. And it was, but he did hold up.
Look at Smiley in the dugout. He thought he went. From that point of view, absolutely. But John Hirschbeck didn't see that he went at all. And so now the count is full. Ground ball headed towards short. Cabrera's throw takes care of Pedroia and Boston. Red Sox leave two men in scoring position. They do not score. We go to the eighth. 1-0 Rays. Drew Smyly pitching 6 1/3 of those innings, and here's his breakout.
Well, the main thing, he kept the Red Sox off the board. He did a nice job of mixing his pitches and really using the off speed to set up the fastball, occasional fastball to set up some of the off speed, the curveball below the zone, the fastball above the zone. And both of these guys tonight have pitched outstanding. Drew Smyly right now, the beneficiary of the base hit by Daniel Nava into right field, the 1 run off of Porcello, and that's how it stands right now. The Rays with that 1-run lead.
Rays have 9 hits off Porcello, 1 run. That came in the 7th inning. And here in the 8th, as Drupal Cabrera will lead off. Cabrera, then Souza Jr. and Loney due up. Up the left side, headed toward the corner. Extra bases coming for Cabrera. And just like that, the Rays with 10 hits and a man in scoring position.
It's shocking. It really is shocking. Since you go back to the beginning of August, how many times the Rays have gone into double digits in hits. You almost have gotten to the point you expect it. That's just what they do. A hanging breaking ball, and there's number 10. Now, you'd like more than 1 run to go with it. But double-digit hits, been doing that far more often the last couple of months than at all at the beginning of the year.
Souza has 2 hits, chops it to third foul. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Ground ball up the middle into center field. Cabrera will stop at third. Bradley Jr. coming in to make the pickup, and Souza has his 3rd hit.
Now it's starting to find some holes, some breaking balls not getting to their spot, kind of hanging up there, and you pop it into center field. That's going to end the night here of Rick Porcello. The Rays threatening again.
Torey Lovullo out to make the pitching change. Okay, fill up your Polar Pop Cup for just 79 cents. By the Florida Department of Transportation, reminding you to drive sober or get pulled over. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealer. We're in Boston tonight, the Rays and the Red Sox in the 3rd game of their 4-game series. Rick Porcello out after 111 pitches, giving up 1 run on 11 hits, a walk, and 8 strikeouts, responsible for 2 men on. James Loney will be the hitter, and the Red Sox counter with the lefty, Tommy Lane. And with Loney due up, the Rays are going to call upon Logan Forsythe to pinch hit against Lane.
Not a bad option to go to here, trying to extend that lead. Nobody out, first and third, and Logan Forsythe in the year that he's had, going to get the first crack.
So it'll be first and third for the Rays. A little toss over to first by Lane. The pitch is wide. First pitch fastball taken out there by Forsythe. Foul out of play. Lane was in the game here on Monday night. Forsythe getting his first look at him. Two balls and a strike. So an opportunity for the Rays to add to this 1-run lead. There's a strike, and it's 2-2. Lane had faced Loney Monday night, got him on a ground ball, so he's lifted here for the righty lefty matchup. Ground ball third. Marrero has it come up on him. He bobbles it. The run scores, and everybody's going to be safe. The Rays get their second run of the night.
Devin Marrero had Asdrubal Cabrera dead to rights at home plate, and that's what he was trying to do, and in his haste, he just didn't field the ball. I mean, Cabrera's going on contact, and he's got him. He's going to field and go, and he just... You can't make that throw without fielding the baseball. You could see him starting to get himself into position to throw home. Just didn't concentrate enough on getting the ball into the glove. That's going to be costly to the Red Sox, not only the run, but no out recorded. Now first and second, and still nobody out.
J.P. Arencibia. First error in this game tonight. Line drive into center field. That's going to be caught by Bradley Jr. and the runners remain at first and second. And now Kevin Kiermaier will hit against the lefty.
How about 4? How about 4 hits for Kiermaier? He's on the verge.
The pitch for a strike. They ruled an error on Marrero and still awarding Forsythe with a run batted in on that ground ball. But you're right, if he comes up with that ball, he had the run at the plate.
And that was the only play to make. You cannot let the Rays extend the lead. You've got to cut the run off at home plate. That's exactly what he was going to do, but you got to field the ball first.
Kiermaier back to the mound. Quick throw to second out there. No chance for the double play then. And the Rays will have men at first and third.
Now, Tommy Lane had the right idea. If you're going to double up Kevin Kiermaier, you field the ground ball, you got to turn and get rid of it right now. But in doing so, he leads Xander Bogaerts right across second base to where he goes down to his knees. Kind of shading up the middle anyway, but here it is. Turn, and you got to go. Got to go. Fires this ball a little bit out in front. You see Bogaerts making sure that he gets an out. Has to corral the ball. And once you're not coming across that bag, you can see Tommy Lane saying, my fault on the throw, a little bit too far on the lead.
So Forsythe cut down at second. Souza's at third. Kiermaier at first. The hitter is Nick Franklin. Takes a pitch upstairs.
Those are the plays as a pitcher where you feel like the quarterback. You get a ball, you turn around, you got to hit your receiver in stride. And if you don't, you're not going to get the double play. And that's why the rule of thumb is to spin. You got to assume that your guy's going to be there. You know who you're going to go to before that. You'll look back between second base and shortstop. I got you. And if you get that ground ball, you turn and you feed it directly over the top of second base. That's the goal. And if you do that, then the throw should be good enough.
2-0 the count to Franklin. Two and one on the miss. Fastball upper 80s. It'll run the count even. 2-2. Three, that one stayed wide. Souza at third, Kiermaier first. Kiermaier will be off with the pitch. And ball four, he misses with the fastball to load the bases. Rays with a run home, 2 outs, bases loaded. They lead 2-0. John Jaso will bat. Jaso 0 for 3 with a walk. Takes a strike. Jaso, base hit between Moraro and the bag. Souza has scored. Kiermaier crosses the plate. A double for Jaso with Franklin stopping at third, and the Rays lead 4-0. Big hit right there by Jaso.
You blow the game open. Tommy Lane not able to turn the double play. A bad feed to Bogaerts. A walk to the 9-hole hitter Nick Franklin, and then John Jaso staying inside that ball and lacing it right up the left field line. That's 4, baby.
So the Rays have built a 4-run lead. Pitching change coming. to be your home for postseason action with the American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama and history. It all begins October 8th on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Noe Ramirez, the new pitcher, the third for Boston. Mikey Matuk at the plate, and the pitch is a strike. Thirteenth appearance for Ramirez. Now he's in front of Matuk, 2 strikes.
Yeah, not the most comfortable at bat for a right-handed hitter against Ramirez, and that arm angle, that arm slot, the different variety of pitches that he's going to come at you with, sweep the breaking ball. We just saw the changeup.
Foul back a third. Matuk hitting .301. He took over as a pinch runner in the 7th for Nava. Nava got the base hit that gave the Rays their initial run. They now lead 4-0. And Matuk chases that one. So the inning is over. The Rays send 8 men to the plate, and they score 3 times. 2 of those runs coming on the double by Jason. It's 4-0 Tampa Bay. Tonight's game summary brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. Scoreless until the 7th inning when Daniel Nava's base hit gave the Rays the lead. They added 3 in the 8th. Drew Smiley worked 6 in the 3rd. Scoreless baseball. Andrew Bellotti took over, got 2 outs in the 7th, and ready to begin the 8th against Xander Bogaerts. Richie Schaefer now in the game for the Rays at first base after Loney was lifted for the pinch hitter. Bogaerts 0 for 3 tonight, fouls that first one out of play. Strike 1. Bogaerts with an 11-game hitting streak over which he has hit .408 coming into this game. He's grounded to third, struck out swinging, and lined to third tonight.
Brandon Gomes, the right-hander. Xavier Cedeno, the left-hander. Bogaerts came into the game hitting .371 against Rays pitching this year. Two and two. Miss there, down, laid off a 2-2 changeup, and the count is full. Did he go on the slider? He did not. A leadoff walk. So Bogaerts reaches. Here's the check.
Checked in time.
And out comes Kevin Cash. He's going to go to the bullpen. Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. Richard Orestes will anchor the coverage. We'll hear from Kevin Cash on the manager's postgame press conference, and Todd Callis will have interviews from the clubhouse. Smiley giving the Rays 6 1/3 of shutout baseball tonight. And Xavier Cedeno takes over for Andrew Bellotti. Bellotti faced 3 hitters. Retired 2 and then walked Bogaerts in front of David Ortiz, and so Cedeno is on for that matchup.
Well, Xavier Cedeno has done a nice job for the Rays this year. Look at that ERA, 2.04, more than a strikeout an inning. He faces a tough assignment here, and the leadoff walk, that's what you do not want. You've got a 4-run lead, and so Cedeno in here trying to clean some things up. against Ortiz.
For the second straight inning, the Red Sox open an inning by drawing a walk. Now here's Ortiz and Cedeno. High fly ball. Hang time for Matuk, who is there to make the catch and left. One pitch and one out.
Now that could not have worked out any better. A good breaking ball by Cedeno. Ortiz underneath it.
Travis Shaw. Well, he continues to be a challenge for the Rays. Shaw doubled in the sixth. He is 1 for 3 tonight. First pitch, a strike. Shaw came into the game 14 out of 28 against the Rays with 3 homers and 9 runs batted in. Two, he fouls it back. 1 on, 1 out. Check swing, little hopper. Cedeno's throw to first will take care of Shaw. Into second goes Bogaerts.
Oh, that was a nice job by Cedeno. He's falling off to the third base side anyway, but really that ball gets by him, it's going to be a base hit because there was nobody home, but he was able to get over to it and took his time. See where Evan Longoria is, way out there by shortstop. But he gets there, takes his time, realizes Shaw's running, and makes a nice throw.
Rusney Castillo due up, and the Rays will again go to the bullpen. With highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league, MLB Whip Around, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Brandon Gomes taking over with a runner at second, 2 outs. He's on to face Castillo. Bogaerts at second. Rusney Castillo 1 out of 3 tonight. And the pitch, a fastball too close. 1 ball, no strikes. 59th appearance for Gomes.
1-1. That's a strike. Fastball in there, taken by Castillo.
I'll start to follow along with Brandon Gomes here. The fastball up and in, slider, sweeps it away for a strike, paints a fastball in the inside corner. You go right back to that slider. I would think that'd be a pretty good pitch to go for right here. Sweep it again. It doubles up.
Ooh, and he just missed.
Well, and see, that's where you can get into a hitter's head because, you know, Castillo may be thinking, okay, I got to be ready for that slider. And all of a sudden, whoop, you double up with another fastball and you go, well, if he went twice, would he do it again? Now you start to put a little bit of doubt into that hitter's head.
Pop fly. Nick Franklin out from second into shallow center, makes the catch. Red Sox do not score. They lead 1, and the Rays lead 4-0. Greg, the former Red Sox, Daniel Nava singled home the first run for the Rays, getting Kiermaier across the plate in the 7th inning. For the Rays, opened the 8th with a double from Asdrubal Cabrera, and then scored 3 before the inning was out. The error by Marrero helped, and then Jaso's 2-run double chased home 2 more to cap a 3-run inning. On to the 9th, Evan Longoria will lead off against Noe Ramirez. Evan singled his first time up. He is 1 for 4 and takes the pitch for a strike. Ray's got 11 hits off Porcello, 1 off Tommy Lane. Noah got the final out in the 8th inning when Ramirez struck out Mikey Matuk. Now he's ahead of Longoria, 0-2. It's a foul ball on the check. Blue Jays have a 4-0 lead at home on the Yankees. New York batting in the top of the 9th inning, and Baltimore leads Washington 4-3 in the top of the 9th in Washington, D.C. 1 ball, 2 strikes here. The Rays have a 4-0 lead. Minnesota leading Cleveland 4-0, bottom of the 6th in Minnesota. Foul out of play.
The Angels beat the Astros earlier 6-5. Houston Street picked up his 40th save.
How about that?
It's amazing.
Yeah, and for a guy who's not overpowering at all, I mean, he relies on just pinpoint control, a little bit of deception sprinkled in, and he just continues to get the job done. I mean, 40 saves leading the way.
The Toronto game has just gone final. They have beaten New York tonight 4-0. Opening a 3.5 game lead. 2-2 the count to Longoria.
And that was a big game too, because it was just 2 game difference in the loss column going in, and now 3 when it could have been 1.
Down to first, glove by Shaw, throw to first, and a nice play to prevent Longoria from chalking up a base hit. Shaw to Ramirez on the out.
Yeah, nifty play by Shaw, moving to his left. Gonna spin and throw. Let's take a look at those standings now.
Well, the Blue Jays up by 3.5 over the Yankees. Asdrubal Cabrera is due up. Pitching change coming for Boston. Bring you live reports from around the country for the latest from NFL training camps and get you ready for a full night of MLB action. Catch America's pregame every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Gene Machi, the new pitcher, here in the 9th. 1 out, bases empty for Asdrubal Cabrera. So he is the 4th pitcher. We saw him for 2/3 of an inning on Monday. It's 1-1. Down the right side. Is that going to stay fair? It is. It hits the foul pole. A home run for Asdrubal Cabrera right down the line. Cabrera hitting his 100th career home run here tonight at Fenway Park, and he hit the foul pole. Rays lead 5-0.
Well, you benefit from that foul pole being so close. No chance for that ball to hook foul in this instance, and Cabrera given a little bit of a lean. And what a way to get your 100th in this iconic ballpark. It's a split. It doesn't do much, but allow Asdrubal Cabrera to crush it. And right there off the top of that pole.
Steven Souza Jr., and that went over his head. And now Bill Welke says he's seen enough.
That was a breaking ball. It was 79 miles an hour, not on purpose at all. That's jumping the gun right there. That's a breaking ball.
So a home run off the foul pole, and the next pitch sails over Souza Jr.'s head, and Welke, you see Monchi pleading his case.
Yeah, that's
the act has been enacted already.
That's brutal. That's brutal. It was a curveball. 79 miles an hour just slipped out of the hand. You're not going up at anybody with a breaking ball, regardless of what anybody says. You're just not doing it. Ball got away from Machi. It was 79 miles an hour, and he's going to get thrown out because of it. Get a great shot of it here, trying to throw that curveball down and away. You see it just spinning up there behind Souza Jr. And like I said, it was 79 miles an hour. It's an overreaction.
So the Red Sox will get a new pitcher into this game with the ejection of Machi.
Gene Machi was ejected. Machi gave up a home run, and then this breaking ball that got away and sailed over the head of Steven Souza Jr. That prompted Bill Welke to eject Machi. So the new pitcher is Roman Mendez. He'll be making his second appearance for the Red Sox. He was with Texas earlier. Originally with Boston, and then wound up getting to the big leagues with Texas, and the Red Sox claimed him off waivers earlier this month. So the pitch to Souza Jr. is outside, a slider. It's 2-0.
Hey, Blue, wake up. Blue, they're last place, Blue.
Foul back. Fastball at 93. Souza with 3 hits tonight. He is 3 for 4. And he hits one high and deep into left center field. That ball is out of here. Home run for Steven Souza Jr. The Rays with 2 runs home in the 9th on what turns out to be back-to-back home runs by Cabrera and Souza, with a pitcher ejected and a new pitcher coming in to serve up the second home run.
Souza Jr., he had been stuck on 15 for quite a while, and he finally gets that fastball up and out over the plate, and we know when he makes solid contact, that ball will jump, and it certainly did here.
Well, that makes it a 6-0 ball game. Here's Richie Schaefer. He's hitting for the first time in this game. 1 strike the count. 0-2. Schaefer's out on strikes. It's the second out of the inning. The Rays now with 6 hits, or 6 runs, 14 hits. And a 4-hit night for Souza Jr. J.P. Arancibia. 1 ball, no strikes. One and one. Pop up. The catcher Swihart down the third base line takes care of that to retire the Rays. But home runs from Asdrubal Cabrera, number 100 of his career, and Steven Souza Jr. hitting his 16th of this season. They come back to back, and the Rays carry a 6-0 lead into the bottom of the 9th. Souza Jr. have made this a 6-0 game. All the scoring in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings in this game. And we're headed into the bottom of the 9th. Kirby Yates will make his 17th appearance. Bill Welke reminding him not to throw at any hitters.
Hey, don't let any breaking balls get away from you. You'll see you later, Yates.
Kirby Yates got his first big league victory Sunday in the 7-6 Rays win. Blake Swihart leads off the bottom of the 9th for Boston. Pitch is wide. Swihart reached on a walk in the 7th. 0 for 2 otherwise. Rays have utilized Smiley, Velotti, Cedeno, Gomes, and now it's Yates. Fly ball center field. Kiermaier coming on is there. One gone. Devin Marrero. Marrero had a bunt single in the 7th inning. There's a strike. Ball up the right side, down the line, and out of play. No 2.
Hopefully the Rays can hold on here, get 2 more outs without giving up more than 6 runs. But what a nice job tonight. Drew Smiley. The Rays finally coming through against Porcello. Big hit by Daniel Nava. How about that? Here in Boston, getting his first opportunity to start, coming back, and with the big hit of the game right now. They continue to add on and continue to put up zeros. Cabrera getting 100 out of the way with one off the foul pole.
And now 1-2 on Marrero. Little tap. Yates with his throw to first. So 2 up and 2 down in the 9th inning. And that leaves 1 out to get with Jackie Bradley Jr. coming to the plate.
And you know, the other nice thing, what the Rays did tonight was they were able to get the lead and then add on in the 8th, seize complete control in the 9th, and they've cleared this ballpark out. So getting a cab out of here, Dwayne, shouldn't be that difficult.
It's really nice to know. Yep. Jackie Bradley Jr. takes the pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Breaks down and in. Out of the zone, 1-1. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
Up and away, 2-2. Rays dropped the first game on Monday, 8-7. Came back with a 5-2 win last night. 1 out away from a combination shutout tonight. Full count. Swihart and Marrero have been retired. And it's foul back. The fastball up. That's high for ball 4. Second walk given up by the bullpen tonight after Smiley had walked 3 and 6 in the third. We'll go to the top of the order, Mookie Betts. He's looking for their 13th shutout of the year. Betts 2 for 4. Pitch is a strike. Bradley moves up to second base on indifference. Two strikes now.
Well, now finish it off in style. We have not seen Mookie Betts take a swing this poor really for a long time, especially certainly not in this series or any time in the recent future. You think about the run that he has been on for the Red Sox, reaching base safely.
There's a line drive, and it's a base hit into center field. Bradley makes a big turn and hangs on at third. The throw comes all the way to the backstop and skips into the stands. That's going to give Boston a run, and Betts is going to wind up at third base. And it's 6-1, and there goes the shutout.
Well, and Mookie Betts, he takes a wild swing on the previous pitch, then stays inside. This gets it into center field, and Kevin Kiermaier, boy, he comes up gunning, and he is way wide, way high. That ball bounds into the stands.
So it's 6-1, and Dustin Pedroia gets to the plate with Betts at third.
You know, when you look back on that too, Kirby Yates was late getting to his spot with the runner on second base and a base hit into center field. The only place for you to go is to back up the catcher, and Yates not there in time, so the overthrow, he's got no chance to make a play on it.
Fouled back by Pedroia. 1-1. Pedroia 0 for 4. Slipped under 300 at 298. Two and one.
upstairs. 3 balls and a strike. With 2 outs, a run in, a man at third. Boxberger's starting to loosen.
Let's hope it does not come to that.
And ball 4. Pedroia draws the walk. Well, with 2 outs, the walk, then the single and the error, and a walk. And the Rays are going to face the hottest hitter going right now, Xander Bogaerts, who's 0 for 3 with a walk. Jim Hickey's going to have to go to the mound. Well, the Rays need 1 more out tomorrow. It will be Erasmo Ramirez on the hill. Comfy in that dugout right now. He'll be after his 11th win. He's 10-6.
I'm like, what am I missing? I got the hood going, got the gloves on, staying warm. Keep the pitching hand warm, keep the head warm, stay smart, be ready to go here tomorrow night. Be nice too. A very good chance here the Rays be going for 3 out of 4 in this series.
He'll be opposed by the left-hander Wade Miley. And our coverage begins at 6:30. First and third, Xander Bogaerts at the plate. And a base hit into center. That's going to score Betts. Pedroia goes to third. It's 6-2. That extends the hitting streak for Bogaerts to 12. And with it, he drives in a run.
It didn't waste any time. First pitch fastball right out over the plate, and he strokes this thing up the middle with authority. Allows this inning to continue. You see Pedroia's on the move. That allows him to get over to third as he jogs in, and the Red Sox making this thing interesting. A little more interesting than you would like, and here comes Kevin Cash.
Well, David Ortiz is due, and Cash is going to have to go to the bullpen. Yates got the first 2, could not get the third one. And we'll be back right after this. They get Brad Boxberger summoned from the bullpen. Pedroia is at third, Bogaerts at first, and David Ortiz
is on his way to the plate as Boxberger makes his 65th appearance.
Well, one more out. Not going to be easy, but Kevin Cash taking no chances. You know, the Red Sox starting to come alive here. A couple of costly walks, a hit, an error. It's been sloppy ending here for the Rays. Hopefully they can right the ship here, finish this off and get a win.
Ortiz with a couple walks tonight, officially 0 for 2. And the pitch is a strike at the knees. Bogarts moves up to second on indifference. 1 strike to count on Ortiz. Swing and a miss at the fastball. 0-2.
How about Brad Boxberger? He just has come out and challenged Ortiz.
Two. Put away another fastball.
What do you do here? If you throw a changeup, you could strain his back. He's going to be so quick for the swing, but we'll see if he indeed does that.
And a fastball again. He fouls it back.
Yeah, right now, Brad Boxberger flexing his muscles, staying with the fastball, staying aggressive. And if he feels that way about it, you can continue to go with that pitch with some elevation, always knowing that you've got the changeup set up if that's where you want to go. It is totally set up at this point.
The 1-2. And it's wide and really not in play from the beginning.
Yep, they never gave himself a chance. Never gave himself a chance. He had the pitch set up and it just got away from him.
Two. Fly ball back into deep left. That ball catchable. Montook in front of the wall makes the grab, and that will end it. Rays win this one 6-2. A couple of runs and a couple men left on base, a couple of hits, an error in that inning, and it's a 6-2 final tonight as the Rays